Inside the 15, inside the 10, headed for the end zone, touchdown. Josh Allen.
Welcome to the Dan Patrick Show.
Not a way to come off the rock. Not a way to run the football, big fella. Not a way to go.
Breaking down all the action and bringing you the biggest guests and best interviews.
Here's a formation foreign to Jets fans. The victory formation.
The Jets get their first win of the season in what has to be the biggest upset this year.
Would you rather the Jets didn't win a game the rest of the season?
I don't want to see them win a game the rest of the season. Oh, God, no. This kid is ridiculously special, and he would be amazing in New York City.
Broadcasting from the Mercedes Man Cave.
On 4th and goal, Frank Gore punches it in.
The Jets stink on ice.
This is Dan Patrick.
Were you a Josh Allen guy prior to the draft? I didn't think you were.
I was. He was my number one quarterback that year. Yeah.
Really?
I mean, yeah. Big Josh Allen. I kind of Lamar is number one, and Josh Allen is two in my first rankings. And honestly, Dan, I made a deal with myself. I backed off of Lamar number one because I got so much crap from my NFL friends. Man, Lamar number one? Are you crazy? I thought there was maybe something I didn't know, that maybe, there was some character issues or something, but that I got so trashed, I honestly backed off Lamar a little bit and ultimately made Josh Allen my number one guy. But yes, I was a huge Josh Allen fan.
If I said I got to take out Mahomes from the equation, quarterbacks under the age of 27 that you would take over Josh Allen.
Oh, man, I don't. To me, that, and I'm just off the top of my head, I'm just going. Only guy I'm thinking about really is him and Deshaun Watson. Those are those guys I think that are young, right? That fit that mold. What you're talking about, it's one of those two. I mean, to me, right now, Rodgers, Mahomes, Russell Wilson. I know in totality of their careers, they're better than Josh Allen and Deshaun Watson. But man, for 2020 football right now, Week 15. I don't think you could say anybody's played better than Josh Allen this year except for Rodgers and Mahomes. And you see, like you saw Saturday night, he can carry the team at certain moments. Doesn't matter what has to be done. And I remind people, that was the same Denver defense that wouldn't let the Chiefs in the end zone 5 different times. And Josh Allen got in the end zone. So he at least deserves to be in that conversation. I'm not saying he's there yet, but he's in that combo.
Army is not going to a bowl game. Their head coach is going to join us top of the hour. So to explain this to me, that Army, what are they, 8-2, not going to a bowl game?
So basically, they were going to the Independence Bowl, and that was set up. And the Independence Bowl had to cancel its game because it can't get another team into the game. There have been too many opt-outs, and so the Independence Bowl does not have an opponent for them. And all the other bowls, because they're contractually tied to different conferences, had to fill through the different conferences that they're contractually tied to. And it's a great injustice because Army deserves to be there. You've got a 2-win South Carolina playing in a bowl and Army's not playing in a bowl. It's ridiculous. And it's interesting because Army's former commandant is the president of South Carolina. You'd think he'd say, look, out of respect, we're going to stay home and you guys go play in the bowl game. And I you don't want anybody to have any issues with COVID-19, but if somebody does, and it seems like given the number of teams that are playing in bowls, there's a chance somebody does. Let's throw Army in there if somebody has to back out. Let them play in a bowl game. They've earned it.
Yeah. And that's why I go back to this when people say, these schools that aren't in the Power 5 conferences, they wouldn't be able to go toe-to-toe with these schools that are. And I go, let me take you back to Army on the road against Oklahoma and Kyler Murray and went into overtime. Oh. So it's one game, and maybe there's a blowout, but you tell me Oklahoma came out of that game going, man, we're so much better than Army.
No, and Army took Michigan to the limit the following year. Look, Army's a good team. There's no reason Army shouldn't be in a bowl game. And this is another one of my issues with the bowl system in general. Again, you don't need these middlemen. Like ESPN owns and operates 17 bowls now. You got the Myrtle Beach Bowl coming on later today. Conway, South Carolina on the surf turf at Coastal Carolina. Those bowls have no middlemen. ESPN puts it on, the teams show up, and you're good to go. And that's the way they could do it throughout college football if they wanted to. And just set up the best matchups you can instead of having, we got to have Big Ten number 3 versus SEC number 4. Don't do that. If anything, this season taught us that things might be better if you schedule a little more on the fly anyway. I mean, that Coastal Carolina BYU game was set up on 2 days' notice. It was probably the best game of the season. So why not have it where the leagues get together with ESPN and say, we're going to create 39 postseason games. But we're not going to set them up by conference or anything like that. We're just going to match them up for the best possible matchups, the best television matchups, the most deserving teams get the best games, and that's how you do it. And everybody would be fine with that. Viewers would love it. And you don't give money to people who don't do anything.
Andy, you're making way too
ESPN
much
gets
sense.
the product.
Andy, you're making way too much
I know.
You got to stop. You got to stop with this. Coach, thanks for joining us. So explain this to me and how you explained it to your kids. They're not playing in a bowl game.
Getting to our bowl game, and we've had a great year. I'm so proud of our guys. We've had 2 very emotional weeks playing the Army-Navy game and then coming right back to play for the Commander-in-Chief's Trophy this past Saturday here at West Point against Air Force. And our guys just battled and did a great job. And we were really looking forward to the opportunity to play in the postseason. We've been set up to play in the Independence Bowl for over a year and have been looking forward to that. Like everybody, the reward of playing in the postseason in college football. And as the day went along yesterday and we realized that we were kind of getting pushed out, and I understand why, and I'm not mad at the system. It's a system that's created lots and lots of opportunities for teams to play. Is the same system that really kept us from having a guarantee yesterday. But there's a lot of teams that have had a chance to play, and I'm not mad at the 2-win teams or the 3-win teams that are playing. In fact, I commend them that they are taking the opportunity to play this great game. What I'm disappointed is the teams that had a chance to play, clamored for the opportunity to play this fall, are now deciding they don't want to play. I don't understand it. And we've got a team who is deserving of playing in a bowl game. They're a great team. They're not the most talented team in the country, not the most talented team I've coached, but they're the best team I've coached. And they're a group of young men who have made a pledge of commitment to serve this nation. And we've got seniors who have earned the opportunity to play in a bowl game who were in tears last night. 6 months from now, they're gonna take a pledge to serve in the United States Army, and ultimately are willing to pay the ultimate price for us to enjoy the freedoms we have and the way of life that we enjoy, to play this game and to have the right to say, yes, I want to play, or no, I don't want to play. But when there's a team like that is uniquely positioned to represent the 1.3 million men and women who serve on active duty in our United States Army, they deserve the opportunity to not just play for themselves, but to represent those men and women. And I hear all that we've been through. It's always, for all this team has been through this year, we're just deciding to opt out. Well, I challenge for all that our soldiers have been through and all that their families have been through, for families who have had loved ones deployed for a year or more and been away from their families and will spend this holiday season away from their families. We owe it to them to represent them. And we want the opportunity to do that. We're hoping that somehow there'll be a chance, but I talked to our guys about it. I told them the truth on how it got to this point. They were obviously disappointed, but what they said was, Coach, if we got a chance, then let us continue to prepare and get ready. And that's what we've done all year. We've just prepared. We're not planned. We had a 12-game schedule in July, and we played 3 of those original teams, but still managed to play 11 games. We've prepared, not planned. And it's what an infantry unit does. They prepare, they don't plan. They don't know when the battle's coming. They don't know what the weather's going to be. They don't know how many bad guys are going to be on the other side, what their firepower is, but they're going to be prepared. And our country can be proud to know that we've got soldiers out there that are protecting our freedoms and our way of life, and that we've got football players who are playing on this team that have made that same commitment. So our guys are just a great bunch of guys. So we're going to stay here for the next few days. We're going to figure out if we get a chance to play and see what comes of it.
Well, there are quite a few Jets fans and big-name Jets fans. Hank Azaria is one of our favorites. He, of course, gave us Brockmire, The actor comedian does a lot of voices on The Simpsons, and he is a Jets fan. And Hank joins us now. Hank, how do you feel today?
Well, Mackay, I mean, you're right, Dan. Mixed emotions, and the emotions that are mixed are despair and anger. There's the mix.
How did you feel watching that game?
It's been insane watching the Jets this season because definitely rooting for them to lose, but it really goes beyond that. I mean, Mackay is dead wrong. It's been this weird thing, I swear, where I am so passionately rooting against the Jets that my favorite team that week is whoever's playing against the Jets, which is a tremendous win-win because until this week, I now always win, as opposed to being a Jet fan up until now, I almost always lose. But look, this was inevitable, I guess. I mean, they should have won that Raider game. They almost beat the Patriots. They almost beat the Broncos. They're lucky. I guess they're lucky that they only won the one game, I should say. But it's been a really almost psychotic season for me.
But it almost feels like this was your Patrick Ewing if you're the Knicks. Like you have a chance. We're bad. We won the lottery. We get Patrick Ewing. You know, it didn't pay off in a championship, but you became relevant. Like the Jets aren't relevant, haven't been relevant in quite some time here. And it's Jetsian to try to, you're bad, but you're not bad enough to get Trevor Lawrence here.
Exactly. I mean, look, this is, but this is just it for a Jet fan. A Jets, Mets, Knicks fan, by the way. I mean, this is like saying, are you surprised that Lucy didn't let Charlie Brown kick the football? You're bummed, but no. Let's see a little quiz, Dan.
Okay.
So let's go with that metaphor. Charlie Brown and Lucy in the football. In this scenario with the Jets win yesterday, who's Charlie Brown, who's Lucy, and who's the football? See if you can guess.
I don't like word problems, Hank. The Jets fans are the football.
No. Jets fans are Charlie Brown.
Oh, okay.
Who's Lucy?
Tom Brady and the Patriots.
that would have been true in years past. But no, Lucy is the Jets themselves. It's the Jets organization. And the football, I'll accept either answer. I'd either accept just the football, since we're talking about football. Football is the football. Or the football could represent joy in life, actual happiness.
Okay. So recap now. Lucy, Charlie Brown, and the football represents...
all Jets fans, including myself, are Charlie Brown, poor sad Charlie Brown, who can't ever get it right. And Lucy, evil Lucy, are the Jets organization, who just snatch joy away from us always. And the football is either the football or actual joy.
Let me start with Kansas City. I mentioned a stat that they really allow you to stay in games here. And that's going to come back and haunt them. I look at these last wins, Tony, their last 6, 2 points, 4, 3, 6, 6, 3. Come playoff time, they may not get that lucky.
Dan, I am worried about the Chiefs. I really am. I think they're bored. I think they're playing with fire. I think they feel like they can do whatever they want to do. You look at that game Sunday, and you're never going to see Drew Brees play as badly as he played. They had the ball for 40 minutes. They outgained them by 200 yards. New Orleans has a ton of penalties that keep things going. Just their best pass rusher gets kicked out of the game. All these things, and then it's a 3-point game at the end, and they've got to make a play to win the game. Le'Veon Bell's got to make a run to run the clock out. That game should have been a 3-score game, and we've seen it over and over and over again, and they always, on that last drive when they need it, they turn it on, they make a play. But in the playoffs, one-game knockout, all of a sudden that ball gets tipped on third down, or something happens. I just think they're playing with fire.
And then you start to look at these other teams, the team that would have the best chance to knock off Kansas City, because you're going to have to go to Kansas City to knock them off. So who would have the best chance, in your opinion, in the AFC?
Well, forget about defense, because the Saints played the best you can play. They harassed Mahomes, and they got 32 points. So if you're going to knock them off, you have to score points. So who can go in there, play a semblance of defense, rush the passer with 4 guys, but move the ball and score points? Tennessee can move the ball and score points, and that ground game could be effective. I don't know if they have the defensive personnel to really hold them down. Maybe Buffalo has the best chance that they're scoring and Josh Allen's playing great. Maybe they can match them with big plays and just get enough of a pass rush to do it. But Kansas City went into Buffalo and dominated that game running the football early in the year. So I'm not sure. Will Kansas City play up to their standard? If they play up to their standard for 2 games, I don't think anyone can beat them.
Yeah, I was wondering about the Titans, because you got Derrick Henry, and, can he keep his defense off the field long enough so they're fresh every time they go on there against Patrick Mahomes? I like the Colts. I think the Colts are a really balanced team. I just don't know about Phillip Rivers in a big moment, Tony.
Well, the Colts would have a chance too because they can move the ball. They've got a good offensive line. They could protect Rivers enough. They can hit some deep shots. Kansas City is going to give you a chance on some deep balls because they're going to play bump and run. They're going to blitz you. T.Y. Hilton, Pascal, those guys have a chance to make some big plays. They can rush the passer. If Justin Houston and DeForest Buckner could pressure without blitzing, now you make a couple of plays. You could hang in there in a high-scoring game. They would have an opportunity, I think.
Who's the quarterback you loved to face?
Quarterback who I loved to face. Oh, let me go back. Take you, Jason Campbell. I'm gonna go back a little bit. Man. I enjoyed playing against Jason Campbell. Felt like he was on my team some of the time. No, I definitely love. He threw me 3 interceptions one game. Oh man, I seen him in the lobby. I seen him in the lobby at a hotel one time in Miami, Super Bowl time. Told him he was my favorite quarterback. Definitely Jason Campbell.
Oh, that is so good. Wow. Did he think that it was a compliment, or did he know?
No, I don't know. It was Super Bowl time, so it was a young lead, Super Bowl time, man. Had a couple guys with me. My brother was with me, man. We was hanging out, checking into the room. So
that is rough.
I think coming from me, he probably knew what I was talking about.
Well, I think he would remember he threw 3 picks, and so if you walk up to him and he's like, "You're my favorite quarterback, man."
Yeah, he knew exactly what I meant.
So what's the problem, Nick? I hear you don't like the picture we use when we're promoting the fact that you're going to be on our show.
Well, listen, I mean, I've been on TV a few years. I've been a semi-public person for the better part of a decade. You have a lot of pictures to choose from, yet you choose one where I have a shaved head and a double chin. And I feel like this is intentional. I mean, you have a army of team around you, mountain of resources. There's a lot of images, some flattering, some not, and some the one you chose. So, yeah, I do have a bit of a problem with that.
Okay.
Somewhat.
So you think that I went out of my way to make you look bad?
Yeah, I think I'm not going to name names here, but there is an all-time Pantheon great sports radio host who I believe once upon a time back in the day used to intentionally choose bad fill-in hosts. So when he came back, people were like, "Oh my God, you're the greatest." I think Dan Patrick chooses ill-fitting pictures for his guests. So it's like, man, even in his older years, that Dan Patrick, that's a good-looking guy.
Nick, you chose boldness. I didn't. You chose
I shaved my head to add an edginess to me, and it rose me to the heights I have since. And then I grew my hair out. That's what happened.
I was afraid of bold Nick. I'm not afraid of this Nick.
Yeah, I know. I'm soft.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, you are soft. What's the craziest thing you've ever heard at the line of scrimmage?
Probably was against Carson Palmer. So Carson Palmer was quarterback in the Bengals, and it's a Monday night, and I want to say it's late December. And of course, everybody's banged up, and I'm banged up and tired. And Carson Palmer comes up, and he's going no huddle, and he's checking. He's like, "Hey, let's go to Las Vegas. Check. No. Let's go back. Let's go to New York. J-Lo, New York. Ready?" And so he's calling all these audibles. And about the 4th play of the drive, it kind of dawned on me. Wait, if he's saying a West Coast city, then he's running to the left. If he's saying an East Coast city, he's running to the right. And so when he says Vegas, it's run left. When he says New York, it's run right. And I was like, so all this credit that guys like you give these quarterbacks for all this great and being cerebral, here's the quarterback with the most simplistic audible system I've ever heard in my life.
Did you tell your teammates?
No, because I wanted to make every play, Dan. At some point, you have to be selfish, because if I make more plays, that means I can ask for more money with my contract.
No, I get it. ESPN NBA reporter Tim McMahon is reporting, a source says the Rockets are working with NBA office officials to review video of James Harden at a strip club. If the video circulating on social media is verified to be recent, it's a violation of the league's COVID protocols, which would put Harden's availability for tonight's opener in jeopardy.
It's disgraceful. It really is. And here's the issue that you have with Harden. He's another guy. I don't want Chris Paul on the team bringing Russell Westbrook. Then that falls apart. Now that the team looks like it's trending toward not being a playoff team, he says, well, now I want to be traded. Well, hang on a second. You were the one that was making all the calls. Now, when you don't like things, now you say that you want to be out of here. You don't show up for practice. So Stephen Silas finally gets a head coaching job after about 20 years as an assistant. And look what James Harden does with this guy. If I were Stephen Silas, I'd call up Mark Cuban and say, can I have my old job back in Dallas? It's a lot less stressful being an assistant coach in Dallas than running the Houston Rockets. At some point, the league needs to step in. James Harden, if this turns out to be true, I think he should be suspended, because, Dan, he's holding the organization hostage, number one. Yeah. Number two, with all this stuff that he's been pulling, he's hurting his trade value, which is also hurting the Houston Rockets. It'll eventually work out for James Harden. I'm not so sure it's going to work out for the Houston Rockets.